Guys, we are seeing the NFL right now in total self-preservation mode. The by far most popular sport in the United States, best ratings, most revenue. One of the most crazy things you can do is look up the NFL Christmas Day ratings versus the NBA ratings. It's just staggering. But what is the one thing that could severely hurt the NFL? It is the concussion issue. It's the situation with Tua Tagovailoa, and the NFL is so afraid, rightfully so, of this whole concussion, the CTE, hurting their bottom line. They're actually telling the Dolphins at this point, you can see reports saying they're monitoring the situation. Tua Tagovailoa, I'm not even sure he's been diagnosed officially with another concussion, but it's a situation. We saw the exact same thing with Matt Stafford earlier this year, where I think the NFL is telling these teams, listen, if a player is suffering multiple brain injuries, even if he gets cleared by protocol, we don't want him playing any more games. And I would be shocked, even with the Miami Dolphins right now, the situation surrounding them possibly, making the playoffs. I would be shocked if Tua Tagovailoa played again, just based off perception, just based off of how indestructible the NFL is. They're not going to do anything that potentially harms their bottom line and their cash cow. And you see the Derwin James hit. Certainly, on Monday night, certainly a bad hit. Does it warrant an ejection? I don't think so, but they're going to eject him because they want any possible head collision out of the game, because they know that is the one thing that can really hurt the NFL. It's like fans start, you wonder, it's like you have a moral compass. At what point, looking at all the CTE issues, the x-rays, the brain damage, at what point is it too much for the common fan to where it becomes such a problem? And that's why they've gone so far with the targeting, so far over the top with the unnecessary roughness, especially to quarterbacks. That's even another thing, because they don't want quarterbacks injured at all, because they are right. It does hurt the overall product of the sport when Tom Brady gets injured and Blaine Gabbert is starting games, for example, if that ever were to happen, or if, Patrick Mahomes were to get injured. They're trying to protect these guys for multiple reasons. But guys, the overall gist of it, the whole thing with Tua, it really, magnifies the situation when you see the NFL looking over and really injecting themselves and saying, listen, we're going to look at this situation. I'm thinking they're just going to say Tua's not playing. Okay, because we right now are number one. It's not even close. Look at our ratings compared to everyone else. Look at the revenue we generate compared to anyone else. The one thing that's horrible press for us is this situation regarding concussions, regarding brain damage. And they're really deathly afraid of that. And they're going to do whatever possible to minimize that. And it's almost a thing where I almost wonder if the NFL considers putting in a rule where if you get 2 concussions, you're ruled out for the remainder of the season. I think that's where we're headed. I really do, because it feels like that's basically where we are right now with Matt Stafford having one sort of brain problem, coming back, getting another one, and then they're like, no, he's rested, he's done. Obviously the Rams aren't close to the playoffs. He's a veteran quarterback. I get all that. There's no reason to play him, but still. And then you see this Tua situation. It's like, in the future, I really think the NFL is going to try and safeguard themselves from the one thing, with it being the number one by far. Look at its ratings on Christmas compared to the NBA. Look at its ratings compared to college football. It's crazy. It's number one. And the only thing that might disrupt its stay as the number one sport in America, as the biggest revenue, the highest TV contracts, all of it is severe brain damage. Obviously, the NBA, the MLB do not have this issue at all. You've got players, elite athletes running into each other, and that is the one thing that they're really trying to navigate, from. And I warned people, I said, listen, when I saw the Matt Stafford thing, and I saw them basically say, listen, he's not playing anymore, this is going to be a thing now where you almost wonder if they do put some type of rule in place to safeguard themselves from a player and from real think about the press on Thursday Night Football, that Tua injury where he kind of got ragdolled and then, he had the whole reaction and that's the exact thing the NFL is trying to eliminate completely because they know it is a terrible look for their sport. And of course, it's a major issue. This is football. You tackle players. You're going to have helmet-to-helmet collisions. There's no stopping it unless you completely change the game. And they're trying to thread a needle where you still get hard hits. You still get real football that we're used to. But you're trying to safeguard all the issues. And then, of course, you've got players. You can't aim for the knees because you'll injure them. But you also can't aim for the head. It becomes harder as a defender to play the game. So, guys, overall, this Tua situation, very concerning. I would be shocked if Tua played another snap this year with the amount of negative press the NFL would get. Again, I don't know. I think he's in the protocol right now. To me, it doesn't even matter. I think the NFL is going to say, listen, we reviewed it. He's not playing. He's done. That's just my opinion on the whole concussion situation with Tua Tagovailoa. I know Teddy Bridgewater is officially starting on Sunday. And just doing some research on this Matt Stafford issue, it says Stafford has been in concussion protocol twice this year. Guys, you know what? I do think they're going to do that rule. Even if you get into concussion protocol twice, I think they might say you're done for the entire year. They know this is the only thing that can really hurt them because we've seen the videos and how bad the CTE is and things like that. So Stafford was in concussion protocol twice. Apparently he cleared concussion protocol the second time, but they still held him out with what is deemed a neck injury. And then they said, listen, they're not in a good spot in terms of the standings, and that's why he ends up going on the IR and he's not going to be back, which is, it's a situation where it's not like the Rams own their first round pick, but I do understand protecting your veteran quarterback when you're already out of the playoffs and things like that. It does make sense. But overall, this is a major issue for the NFL, especially we've seen it this year with Tua, and I think the NFL is probably going to implement some type of rule against multiple concussions or something like that because they know that it's a league that's indestructible unless you have a scandal like this where you've got players who can't remember things and things like that. This is what they're trying to eliminate. Another Tua situation. And that's why every hit, it's not fair. You get a bang-bang play, helmet to helmet. The player gets ejected because they're trying to drill it into guys that, listen, you can't hit them there. You will be thrown out. We don't care if it's a bang. We don't care if it was malicious or not, which obviously if you're ejecting a player, you would think it would be for something that was really illegal and really horrible. But no, it's just they want everything out when it comes to helmet-to-helmet contact, when it comes to brain injuries, things like that, because they know in an indestructible league that's number one by far, this is the only thing that could severely damage it. So guys, I just wanted to talk about that, but that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description.